If you don't like political scandals, you might want to brace yourself, because what you're about to hear is a story that's as tangled as it is explosive. In the world of international politics, where backroom deals and secret alliances are the norm, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. This is a tale that stretches from the corridors of power in Washington, D.C. to the bustling streets of San Salvador, and it involves a cast of characters whose actions would make even the most seasoned political thriller writer raise an eyebrow. The stakes are high, the players are powerful, and the consequences are far-reaching, touching lives and shaping destinies in ways that are still being uncovered. But if you're the kind of person who wants the inside scoop, the real story behind the headlines, the whispers behind closed doors, and the motivations that drive powerful people, then you're in the right place. Because this isn't just about one man or one country. It's about how the decisions of a few can ripple out to affect millions, and how the pursuit of power can sometimes blur the lines between right and wrong. It's a story that challenges our understanding of diplomacy, ethics, and the lengths to which individuals will go to achieve their goals, even when the world is watching. So stick around, because this story has it all: power plays at the highest levels, diplomatic intrigue, and a whole lot of controversy that's still sending shockwaves through both the United States and Central America. It's a narrative that's as complex as it is compelling, and it's one that continues to evolve with each passing day, as new revelations come to light and old secrets refuse to stay buried. We're talking about diplomacy in its rawest form, where alliances are forged and broken, where every handshake could hide a dagger, and where the stakes are nothing less than the future of entire nations. And at the center of it all is a man whose name you might not know, but whose actions could have changed the course of history. This is a story that delves into the heart of international relations and the often murky waters of political maneuvering, where every decision can have unintended consequences. Meet Ronald Douglas Johnson. A career intelligence officer, a man with decades of experience in the shadowy world of national security, and, for a brief but critical period, the United States ambassador to El Salvador. Johnson wasn't just any diplomat, he was a man handpicked for a mission that would test the very limits of American foreign policy. His role was pivotal, and his actions would have lasting implications not just for El Salvador, but for the reputation of the United States abroad. In 2019, as the Trump administration was reshaping America's approach to the world, Johnson was chosen to represent U.S. interests in El Salvador, a country at a crossroads, led by a young and ambitious president named Nayib Bukele. Bukele was a political outsider who had swept into office on promises to root out corruption and crush the violent gangs that had plagued his country for decades. But as Bukele tightened his grip on power, questions began to swirl about just how far he was willing to go, and who was helping him behind the scenes. The dynamics between Johnson and Bukele would become a focal point of intense scrutiny, with every move watched by both allies and adversaries. Johnson's official mission was clear: strengthen the relationship between the United States and El Salvador and support Bukele's aggressive crackdown on gangs like MS-13. On paper, it was a straightforward assignment. The U.S. wanted stability in Central America, and Bukele promised to deliver it by any means necessary. But as anyone who's ever watched a political drama knows, what happens on paper is often very different from what happens in reality. The complexities of real-world politics often defy simple explanations, and the truth is rarely black and white. Behind the scenes, things quickly got messy. Reports began to emerge of secret meetings, confidential deals, and a growing sense of unease among both American and Salvadoran officials. Whispers in the halls of power suggested that Johnson's support for Bukele went far beyond the usual bounds of diplomacy. Some said he was simply doing his job. Others believed he was crossing a line that should never be crossed. The line between diplomacy and interference became increasingly blurred, leaving many to wonder where loyalty ends and complicity begins. Now, investigators allege that Johnson didn't just support Bukele, he actively protected him. According to sources familiar with the case, Johnson used his position to shield Bukele from scrutiny, to deflect criticism, and to ensure that the Salvadoran president could pursue his agenda without interference from Washington. The implications of these actions are profound, raising questions about the integrity of diplomatic practices and the true nature of international alliances. The allegations are serious. When U.S. law enforcement agencies began investigating rumors of secret pacts between Bukele's aides and the notorious MS-13 gang, deals that allegedly involved trading leniency for political support, Johnson is said to have intervened. And when questions arose about the possible misuse of millions of dollars in American aid, Johnson supposedly worked to keep those questions from reaching the highest levels of the U.S. government. The potential misuse of aid funds adds another layer of complexity to the scandal, making it even harder to separate fact from fiction. He's accused of discouraging further investigations, of telling his staff to back off, and of using his influence to keep the truth buried. For some, this was just hard-nosed diplomacy, doing whatever it took to keep a key ally on America's side. For others, it was a betrayal of everything the United States is supposed to stand for. The ethical implications of Johnson's actions are a matter of intense debate, with both sides presenting compelling arguments. Johnson is also accused of blocking Salvadoran opposition leaders from accessing the U.S. Embassy, a move that critics say was designed to silence dissent and keep Bukele's critics at bay. In a country where political violence is a constant threat, the embassy is supposed to be a safe haven, but under Johnson's watch, that door was closed to those who needed it most. The role of the embassy as a sanctuary was called into question, and the fallout from these decisions is still being felt. And perhaps most troubling of all, Johnson is alleged to have withheld key information from Washington, keeping his superiors in the dark about what was really happening in El Salvador. Why would a seasoned diplomat take such risks? Was it loyalty to a foreign leader, or something more? The motivations behind Johnson's actions remain a subject of speculation and intrigue, fueling further investigation and debate. Critics say the answer is simple. It was all about keeping Bukele on America's side to slow the flow of migrants to the U.S. border, a top priority for the Trump administration. With migration numbers surging and political pressure mounting at home, the White House was desperate for results, and if that meant turning a blind eye to Bukele's excesses, so be it. The intersection of immigration policy and foreign diplomacy is a critical aspect of this story, revealing the difficult choices faced by those in power. But others see it very differently. To them, Johnson's actions crossed a dangerous line, undermining anti-corruption efforts not just in El Salvador, but across Central America. By protecting a leader accused of making deals with criminals, they argue, the United States sent a message that the rules no longer applied and that power was more important than principle. The broader implications for regional stability and governance are significant, and the effects may be felt for years to come. So, is this a case of political convenience, of doing whatever it takes to achieve a strategic goal, or is it a serious breach of diplomatic duty, one that could have lasting consequences for America's reputation around the world? The answer, as always, depends on who you ask. The debate over Johnson's actions is far from settled, and the ramifications are still being felt, both in Washington and abroad. For his part, Johnson denies everything. He insists that he acted with integrity, that he followed the law, and that his only goal was to serve the interests of the United States. As of now, there are no formal charges against him, just a growing chorus of voices demanding a full investigation and a cloud of suspicion that refuses to go away. The calls for accountability and transparency continue to grow louder as more people demand answers and seek justice. Whatever happens next, one thing is clear: this scandal is far from over. The story of Ronald Douglas Johnson, Nayib Bukele, and the secret deals that may have shaped the fate of a nation is still unfolding. New details are emerging every day, and the search for the truth is only just beginning. In the end, the real question may not be what Johnson did or didn't do, but what kind of country the United States wants to be, and what price it's willing to pay to achieve its goals. The ongoing investigation will likely reveal more about the intricate web of international relations and the ethical dilemmas faced by those in power, as the world watches closely. So, if you want to stay informed about the stories that matter, the scandals, the secrets, and the power struggles that shape our world, make sure to stick around. We'll keep digging, we'll keep asking questions, and we'll keep bringing you the news explained. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments what you think about this shocking Trump-era scandal. The truth is out there, and together, we'll find it. Your engagement helps us continue to uncover the stories that need to be told, and your voice is an important part of this ongoing conversation.